Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you in another video. All right, so I didn't have anything in mind, but I was sitting up here getting myself a late night meal, uh, breakfast, believe it or not, oatmeal at night. I try to eat as much easygoing food as possible so that I can, continue to stay as healthy as possible. So I don't really care nothing about gourmet and taste and all that. I'm very low maintenance. So at this point, it's just about health. So that's what I'm doing, eating a little snack more or less before I go to bed. And just wanted to check in, maybe do a therapy session, and just uh, more or less thank everybody for continuing to be consistent in checking me out. Obviously, I've been wanting to do more basketball talk, but as the summer goes, there hasn't been a whole lot to talk about. But I think that's about to change very soon. So I'm going to be putting a lot of my effort into learning about the teams and understanding that I'm a bit more behind the eight ball in terms of not knowing as much this season about these teams specifically early on. But I'm going to get my knowledge up, and as I do, of course, I'm going to analyze what I see. I think I want to give a bit more credence to just how difficult it may be for Coach Ham early on, because our expectations as Laker fans, coupled with the frustration of our roster situation, depending on how things shake out early on, could determine what type of start he gets off to. And I just want to see our team not necessarily overreact to what could be early success or early struggles. Um, I think balance early on is most important, because what could end up happening is one or the other could propel us to um, false identity. That's what I'm concerned about this team, because it's so early on, uh, that this in terms of the team being put together, and there's still so many changes that have yet to be made, um, or question marks about whether or not changes will be made at the beginning of the season, depending on what can be done between now and then. That there's just so much uncertainty, and when you're building a team that's win now, uh, as Braun always says, it's about the journey. So when you're considering what the journey is about, um, you just can't get so caught up in what goes on early on. And I say that with the understanding that I'm prone to doing that. That's what I'm here to say. It's not that I expect that I won't do that. I'm just saying that I hope I don't do that, and I'm asking everybody else to try not to do that. But when things are really happening in the moment, especially with basketball teams that are really, going all in for it, it becomes a situation where you just want to see the team succeed so bad, and sometimes it just doesn't seem possible. It just doesn't seem like it's going to happen. But when you got the type of talent that we have, the most important thing for our team is to just get reps. It's not necessarily about the regular season. It's not necessarily about anything other than guys developing habits, guys staying healthy, and then that's pretty much the end of the story. Because once you have this type of core, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Patrick Beverly, um, hopefully we can pull in Kyrie Irving. It's really just about them learning each other, finding out what works, and then from there, the role players settling into what those guys need them to do. And I expect Patrick Beverly to be a very vocal leader. I heard him mention something about Rondo in regards to wanting to echo kind of that role from 2020, and I definitely think that's a very good thing. He can project himself in a different way than Rondo, of course, but on the defensive end, I expect that type of leadership. Holding other guys accountable, and of course, um, just maintaining his own conditioning to try to stay as healthy as possible for us, because that's really been everyone's biggest concern about Patrick Beverly, who's knowledgeable about his game and knowledgeable about what he's going to bring to the table. It's really about health, because otherwise he's going to be one of your favorite players, because he's going to rep your team first and foremost. He's going to make sure that everybody's wide awake every single play, every single night. And that holds extreme amount of value when you have the type of players that we have on our team. Um, a guy like Anthony Davis, who tends to be here and there, or a guy like LeBron James, who's going to conserve energy here and there. Patrick Beverley is going to make sure that all players are engaged at all times, and that is going to be his job, in my humble opinion. And I think he, with Darvin Ham together, with their personalities, should pose a great deal of um, structure in terms of discipline and holding guys accountable in an aggressive manner, I'd imagine. Not with disrespect, but it's not going to be easy in practice if guys got blown out by 30. It's just not. It's not going to be easy. And I think guys are going to have to swallow some serious pride, because they're going to have to listen to some people tell them some things that they ain't going to want to hear in order to get better as a unit. And I just know for a fact that if they buy into it, they'll win games that they're not expecting themselves to win. And they'll get to the playoffs and they'll do good things and build forward. So I'm excited about Patrick Beverley just as a leadership and a vocal asset to our franchise. I think he's going to be a great Laker. I really do. I really think I have high hopes for him. Closing out, well, it's a 1 year thing, but I do believe that the Lakers will sign him again, because he's the type of guy that you don't want to let go of. Simple as that. You don't want to let him go unless he does something to get in his own way. His game is going to speak for itself. So, now that he's here, I'm super excited. I think of when we got Meta, you know what I mean, and what he meant for our team. That's kind of the vibes that Patrick Beverley has. He's not Meta because he's further on in his career than where Meta was when he arrived. But I think Patrick can still give us some of that. And I think, when it comes down to it, you got to respect him as a defender in every way, shape, and form. And you also have to respect him as a shooter because he tends to put them together. So that is something that I'm very excited to see him do for the Los Angeles Lakers. And, that's really what it is. I know what type of player this is, and I know what type of changes will be expected just from his sheer presence. So, got to be excited about that player coming in. Also, very excited about the notion that the Lakers are still very much alive for shooting. They're trying to get some shooters on this team. They're not giving up on improving the squad. Of course, we've talked a great deal about what needs to happen in order for me to be happy about the team. But I think what needs to happen in order for everyone to be happy is just for the Los Angeles Lakers to be the best possible team at the end of this season. So I trust that Rob and the gang are going to do what they need to do to make sure that we can just have our best shot at that. Being patient, being consistent in just making sure that we patch up holes that we had last year. And it looks like we've done that. I saw some footage today. LeBron James hanging out with John Wall. I think they were celebrating one of their business ventures together, I believe what it was. And I also saw that Lonnie Walker was in attendance for that. I think that was a really, really, really good sign in regards to just understanding that Lonnie Walker, the young Laker, is getting acclimated in here as a part of LeBron James's, team and surroundings and so forth. That's really a good sign. It's the type of thing that you want to see guys getting, just acclimated to what it means to be around LeBron James, because it is a great deal of what it means to be a Los Angeles Laker in 2022. You definitely want to make sure that you just understand what kind of comes with that. You know what I mean? What it feels like to be in that setting, I'd imagine. So I think it's a good thing. I think it's a very good thing to see continuity early on before the training camp even starts, before they even really do a whole lot. It's about team chemistry. So that's encouraging. I saw Pat Bev did post something online on his Twitter, and he was talking about just basically prayer hands. Didn't say anything. Prayer hands, and it showed he was a Laker facility was what he was taking a picture of, and you can just see he's excited about being a part of this thing. He's very much going to take that energy that he applied to his previous situations. He's going to bring it to this team, and with the expectations of winning, getting to the playoffs, and doing damage when we get there. And, we have expectations. We do not come to this table thinking that this is something that we're clueless about, or that we're just hopeful, or none of that. Or we're intentional, and we understand that we have a uphill battle. That's what it's about. But there's no team in this league that wants to see us when we're fully healthy after we finish building this thing. I will say that. There's no team that wants to see us. And so we just have to continue to put our foot on the gas and build good habits early. That's what it's about, building good habits early. Darvin Ham getting his defensive principles in, and his offensive scheme, and all of those things, I think will come over time. But I want to see those habits established early. And just as I said earlier, not overreacting to what guys may do. I hear a lot about Lonnie Walker's deficiencies on the defensive end, and I haven't done any homework, so I lean on others who have spoken about it. But I just don't want to get into a situation where we're looking for guys to fail. You know what I mean? If a guy proves himself to be deficient in an area after the fact, that's a good thing. But I think we're starting to run into a situation where we're looking for guys' weaknesses, and that could set us up for failure. You don't want to get into a space where you're looking for players to Russell Westbrook. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you don't want that attached to the Laker experience. Like, okay, there's a bumbling guy, there's somebody who's going to, like, I just kind of don't like how that's starting off in terms of Lonnie Walker. It's like, oh, he's a bad defender. I'm like, hold on. Let's get him here. Let's get him around his coaches. And then let's see what he can do. And if there are some deficiencies, or if we learn some things, then let's see if we can attack those weaknesses just like every other player. And if not, then we'll hide those weaknesses just like everybody else. But I don't see no reason why Lonnie Walker, with his frame and his body size, why he can't be a competent defender just like anybody else. It's just about learning and intent. And if you're good at it, you're good at it. If you're not, then it's just about hustle, I'd imagine. So that's what I've always been told. It's more about effort than anything else. So if guys got to learn where to be, where not to be, spacing and all those different things, how to position themselves one way or another, that's what the coaches are for. But as far as just saying, okay, a guy sucks, and then writing them off, that's, in some ways, that's letting the development department off the hook, believe it or not. Like, certain things guys can't physically do, right? Can't physically do, length and all those different things. But in terms of, like, if a guy's missing assignments, or if a guy's not able to read what he needs to read, a lot of that is either situational, in my opinion, like on the fly, a guy just makes a mistake because he misreads a great play, or it's really on the coaches and the player himself to just do the work and find out what it is that they need to do to get better. So I don't buy that. When a player's young, I'm not buying that. Okay, he just sucks. If there are deficiencies, cool, there are deficiencies. But, I just want to see Lonnie Walker succeed on the defensive end. I really do. And I want us to think of him as somebody who can get better, and just like we do with everybody else on this team who's young enough to get better. And that's what it's about. So, I respect that sometimes older guys don't want to learn new stuff, but I challenge them as well. I just don't know that I believe that a guy like Russell Westbrook's going to incorporate new tricks into his game. But a guy like Lonnie at his age, yeah, no. I'm not saying guys are going to get better than they are in terms of, like, reaching a higher ceiling defensively, turning into, like, Marcus Smart or something. No, but being a part of a good defensive team Yeah, I hold everybody to task at that in 2022. There should be no reason where we're at conditioning wise, where we're at in terms of the level of talent that's in this league. Everybody should be able to do something to contest what's in front of them and be a part of a good defensive team. Everybody gets cooked. That's another thing. Everybody gets cooked. This notion that you're supposed to get stops on every play. It's only like 3 guys in the history of the sport that is even known for being that kind of great, and even they got cooked at times. There's no, there's nothing you can do other than what you're able to, right? But if you're thinking that side of the ball well enough, and you got the hustle in you, and you know your principles, boxing out and all that other stuff, being vocal, all that other stuff, then it's just about, like I said, it's situational. Then it's just about whether or not the other team can outduel you in that way. And sometimes, no matter how smart you are, you still get outdueled. No matter how big or strong you are, God still hits an impossible shot over you. Are you getting cooked? In that case, yeah. But these are professional guys, so they're gonna hit great shots. They're gonna do great things. They're gonna jump over you. They're gonna dunk the ball. So all you can ask a guy to do is contest shots. And if he gets scored on every time, all you can do is sub him out and bring somebody else in who can guard him. It's nothing to it, but waiting for guys to fail can set them up to fail. They start believing that they don't have it, that they can't do it, and it's just like a situation where you just don't see the progression like you should. So I think that it's a psychological thing, and a lot of times it can start with fans just listening to us pundits just look at what we see and say, you know what? Yeah, he's no good at it. Well, yeah, he's not good at it yet, but he needs to get better at it, and we're gonna make sure he does. And that's one of those things that I think the Lakers organization's mindset should be about. Like, yeah, no, he's not good at that yet, but by the time we're done with him, he's gonna be as good as we need him to be, and better for somebody else if he leaves us. So that's the mentality, man. Nothing short of it. That's what we're about. That's how you win championships. You keep the main thing, and you work your progressions at all times, from the smallest to the most important. And as far as players are concerned, you want your role players to be as competent in every way possible, because you're going to go up against great players who are going to cook them. Simple as that. So you just want them to be able to be confident on the defensive end, and from there, let the game take care of the rest. Simple as that, man. So that's what I wanted to say, man. It's just something that's been on my mind lately, because I'm just like, yo, yeah, I understand that Lonnie's role has been a little unclear, but the trade to get Patrick Beverley helped a lot in that area. So now we just got to see where he slots in, and see what Darvin Ham can do with him. See what he can do. So I'm excited about the kid. I always was. I thought he was somebody that could do some good things in San Antonio, and I just felt like he was working his progressions as a developing player. What can I say? It's one of those things where it's like, in the first 4 or 5 years of a player's career, I don't expect nothing. If you want to know the truth about BDF 44's opinion, I don't expect much of anything out of anybody over the first 4 or 5 years. But after that, then I'm looking for them to do what it is that they're ultimately going to be. And if that's assuming they've been healthy the whole time, if they have setbacks in their health or setbacks in their playing time, that's worked into that development time frame. So we can talk about 6 or 7 years for some of these guys. Yeah, that's a long time to wait. But by the time you look up and that time has passed, they're really good players, really good role players, maybe even all-stars. So these moments in time when you're like in year 4, year 5, you're looking for them to start popping now. But if for some reason it doesn't pop this year, it doesn't mean his career's over. So that's kind of how I look at Lonnie. It's like, yeah, it's time to get started now. But we saw a guy by the name of Malik Monk who hadn't proven a whole lot when he got to the Lakers last year. Hadn't proven a whole lot at all. Kind of had the same path as Lonnie, only maybe a little worse because he was in Charlotte, and they weren't really giving him the minutes like that. And you saw what he did when he got here. Took the role, wasn't ideal, made the best of it, excelled like crazy, and made it back. So with Sacramento, is going to get some minutes this year. So I don't see any reason why Lonnie Walker can't succeed in that way if given the same opportunity. He's not the same type of player, but he can do things his way, and I'm pretty sure he will. So that's what I'm looking for him to do. So that's what I have to say, man. welcome to this team, all the new players, man. Everybody who's here. I haven't studied this team yet. I don't know of these guys just yet, and that's just part of it. It's part of it, man. I want to do my homework on that, but it'll happen. It'll happen soon. So for the time being, I think it's pretty much time to eat. And I appreciate you guys for rocking with BDF 44. I'm out.